Hey, what's going on? I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a quick walkthrough of the new event system in the Truffle API, as well as give you a quick tutorial on how to get a Supabase Edge function up and running to work with the webhook aspects of the events API, um, and kind of also walk you through the process of creating a package with events and show you kind of how this whole system works. We think it's pretty flexible, and we're super excited to get feedback from everybody and hear how we can improve it. So starting off, this is like the GraphQL API Notion page. So this is kind of where we've been adding documentation to. Um, you can kind of go and drill into all these different models to kind of get, I guess, some more explicit information on each of them. But at a very high level, the three main models that are kind of making up this new events API are event topics, actions, and event subscriptions. So essentially, the way that all of these kind of relate to one another is event topics are used to signify that an event has happened inside of Truffle. And so eventually we're going to have a lot of, I guess, kind of built-in events that devs can go and create event subscriptions for, and be notified when something happens inside Truffle. Like, say, example, there's there's some form of a transaction. Somebody buys something through a Truffle site. You would be able to go and listen to that via like a webhook or a pub/sub topic. Other examples, you can do anything from like creating a new prediction, or somebody levels up on the battle pass, and we're going to work with the community to kind of get feedback on what people want to listen to inside of Truffle, and kind of what there might be on the integration side there. One of the other cool things about event topics is you can also create custom event topics that you can use to broadcast information to your own servers from your own package. Or other third-party devs can create event subscriptions for their packages and listen to events that your package broadcasts when some sort of functionality or event happens that happens through your package. So that is one of the cool things. Right now, the primary mechanism for triggering these event topics, is specifically the custom ones, is when a collectible is redeemed. And so the example that we're going to work through today is a viewer create poll collectible, where it's basically like the purpose of the package is to allow viewers to go and create their own polls outside of like the mods or the creator, and they can unlock this through the channel point shop or like the battle pass, some other collectible mechanism inside of Truffle. And so from that, when the collectible would be redeemed, it would go and broadcast an event topic. And so I'm going to go and take you through what happens after that. So in addition to event topics, we have two other models. So we have actions and event subscriptions. And the way that actions work is we have four built-in actions that you can kind of use to compose all sorts of different workflows and custom functionality. And so the four action types are webhooks. And so this is basically like a third-party endpoint that you want to go and send event data to. Google Pub/Sub. So we actually have a baked-in way to go and post event data to your own third-party Google Pub/Sub topic. Eventually, we'll probably add something on the AWS side as well. But for now, if you wanted to go and I guess kind of fan out the event to like your serverless architecture or some other service, and just have the entry point be a Pub/Sub topic from Truffle instead of hitting an endpoint directly, you'd be able to do that. We also have a really cool action called the GraphQL action, where basically is kind of what it's named, where there are actions to go and execute GraphQL queries directly against the Truffle API. And so we are actually going to showcase that as part of package installations. Oh, gosh. Forgive my cough today, gosh. So we'll give a little more information there. And then we also have workflows. And workflows are cool. They're basically like a way to chain together a collection of events. And you can either run them sequentially, which we do as part of package installs, or you can also run them in parallel. So it's a way to kind of compose these more scalar type actions to create more complex workflows, which are pretty sweet. So that's kind of what's going on there. And then event subscriptions are basically a way to create a subscription to event topics. And so this is the model that's used to perform an action when there's a specific event topic that is broadcast. And so In the package example that we'll be working through, we'll give a quick overview of how we associate event topics to actions through event subscriptions. So that is what is going on there. So let's go ahead and hop into it now that we've given a quick overview of events. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to this Truffle Packages event demo backend README. This has all of the steps for how to go and fork the events demo backend package, so you can create your own events package. And also has some boilerplate for you to go and get a Supabase Edge function up and running right away. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into forking the demo package. Sorry, excuse the cough. We're just going to call it we got my initials, golden demo, because this demo is going to go great. So we're going to go and fork the package. I'm going to take a little bit, and boom, now we're able to go and CD into our demo package, our fork demo package. We're going to go and open up VS Code here, and we'll give you a quick walkthrough of the package structures here. So at the top level, we have two Truffle files, Truffle config and Truffle secret, where Truffle config is used to hold all of the package specific information, including the package name, the package version, as well as a couple of other fields. So we have the API URL. This is pointing at mycelium staging right now. Here's the API that we're using for the early access. We have requested permissions here. So this is going to be a new field to Truffle config if you're familiar with the front end packages. And this is basically a way for a package to specify specific permissions that the package is going to need to operate some sort of functionality. And then these permissions are going to be tied to the package API key. That way you can use the package API key in your third-party services. And so specifically, if we walk through these, so we have, sorry, we'll loop back to this actually. So the next field that we have is this install action rel. And so what this is basically a workflow action that's going to execute a set of actions when the package is installed. So for example, when creator installs your package and you need to go and set up webhooks and see data like collectibles or power-ups, economy actions, etc. You're going to go and specify all the steps that the package install needs to take to get your package set up and working correctly for the creator. And so inside this step action rails inside the workflow, we have 3 steps. So the first one is going to create an event topic, a custom event topic for creating viewer polls. We have this collectible that with the event topic slug and the redeem data. We're basically specifying that when this collectible is redeemed, it's going to go and broadcast our custom event topic. And then the last thing is going to be an event subscription for the custom event topic and connecting that to a third-party endpoint. So we're going to go and update all of this as we work through the tutorial. So the very first thing that you're going to need to do after forking the package is we're going to update our event topic slug. So we're going to go and grab our package name, and we're just going to append this to the forked event topic slug. And then we need to update all of the event topic slug attributes throughout the rest of the install set. So we're going to go and, sorry, we need to append it. We're going to append it to the collectible insert, and we're going to also append it to the event subscription event topic. So just we need to make sure that these all line up so that the install works later on. We are grateful. That looks great. Okay, so the very next thing that we are going to do is we also need to update the collectible. So one thing to note, collectibles are unique at the org level. At least the slugs need to be unique at the org level. And since you're all kind of using the Truffle early access org, or you can go and append to the slug here. And we're just going to go and add our package name here as well. So this is different from the event topic slug because the event topic slug has that topic in the middle there. So we're going to go and save this. And we should be about good there. The other note is also the Truffle secret. This is covered in the other video, but I'm going to touch on it real quickly. The secret key here is going to be the package API key. And so you're actually going to use this inside of your Supabase Edge function later on when we get that set up. So we go back to, we may make sure that we've got everything set up. Yep, that looks good. So we're going to go and jump into how to actually set up the Supabase Edge function. So looking at this README, so the first couple of steps talk about getting you set up with the Supabase CLI. So Supabase has a CLI that lets you set up, you know, a local Supabase project and connect the local Supabase project with the remote one, deploy functions and set secrets. If you forked the event demo package that we're working through in the tutorial right now, the only like thing that's going to be different here is instead of running Supabase in it, we have a config.toml file inside of our Supabase folder, and you're just going to update the project ID in here instead of running Supabase in it. So you can skip that if you forked the example package. If you did skip that Supabase init step, you do have to go and create the Supabase project through the admin dashboard on Supabase. So the first thing you're going to do on the Supabase side of things, you go to their console and you create a new project. So I'm going to go ahead and name it the same thing as my package, give it a quick password, and go ahead and click create. So now that this is set up, we're going to go and copy the project ID into the config file under the project ID field. So we'll update that. So we're all good to go there. What comes next? So we updated that. Okay, so we need to link the project. So in order to link your local Supabase project with the remote, you need to grab the project ref, and you can just grab that directly from the URL after /project. So this is going to be this random hash here. And if you go back to code, we'll go and bust open our terminal. And we're going to run that Supabase link command and just paste it in our new function ref. And this is going to go and create that link between the local Supabase project and the remote. Wait for that to finish up here before we proceed. No route test. Okay, I think it wasn't finished up, so we're going to run that again. Okay, cool. So that worked that time. The function was, or sorry, the project was still being set up. Cool. So that is good to go there. Let's go and dart back to README. Okay, so the next thing, we're going to walk you through the Supabase function, and then we're going to deploy it. So if you go and you open up the backend Supabase functions folder, we have this viewer polls example handler as an example of a Supabase function that you can use here. And so inside of this serverless function, this is, first of all, it's all written in Deno. So one thing that you'll probably notice that's different than other serverless functions you've worked with before, if you worked with Lambdas or Cloudflare workers or the Google Cloud functions, you'll see that all of the imports are from remote URLs. So this is something unique to Deno. And I guess to kind of start out, the entry point to this function is actually just we actually grab this serve function directly from the Deno standard library. And if we go down here, you'll see that we're just tossing a handler directly in a serve function, and that's all that we have to care about on the Deno side of things. And we're going to go and be able to receive requests with the Edge function. And so inside the handler, you'll see that we actually kind of query the function. We have this handle Truffle webhook event Supabase function that we import from the Truffle Events library. And basically what this is it's a thin wrapper around the request that's going to do a couple of things. So the first thing it'll do is it's going to parse the request and pull out the event topic that the webhook is going to send to the Edge function. It will also grab all of the event data. So anything additional outside of the event topic that gets sent along with the request. This includes some of the default information like the user ID, org ID, as well as anything that's custom to the payload of the webhook. And the other thing about this function that's pretty neat is, so if you're, I guess, kind of following along in creating your Edge function on top of Supabase, this handler is automatically going to verify the webhook for you, so you don't have to worry about responding to the webhook verification challenge when the event subscription is getting set up. And then you would just have to write all of your business logic inside of the callback. And so if we walk through the body of the callback, we preserve the raw request. That way, if you need to go and grab anything else from the request outside of the event data, the event topic, you're able to access that inside of this callback. If the callback doesn't parse any event data, we just send like a simple Pong response, like someone's trying to, ping the function, make sure that's online. We're going to send back whatever they send us. Then as we move down here, there's a couple of things that are more specific to the actual event processing that are going on here. So the very first thing is we just verify that the event topic that the webhook sent to the Edge function was, I guess, kind of our custom event topic to make sure that we're actually processing the correct webhook. So we actually pass that in as a Deno environment variable, and we verify that the event topic, matches the custom event topic that we created in the package config. And if it is, then we do a couple of things. So the first thing, we kind of parse out the event data and break it in a couple of variables. So we grab the question, the poll options, the user ID, and the org ID. And then if we have all these things, we're going to go ahead and do make a couple of requests to the Truffle API. So the first thing we do is we actually are going to query the Truffle API for the user's information. The purpose of this is we want to go and actually grab the user that created the poll. We want to grab their username and then just put that in the poll question so we can kind of specify, who created the poll. And then the second thing that we do here is we actually call the Truffle API to create the poll that we can then listen to in some sort of like front-end package or, any other component that is listening to polls inside of Truffle. So that's the basic kind of outline of the function. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump in and deploy the function. So we're going to grab this command here to deploy the function. One thing to note here, make sure that you pass in this flag, the no verified jot flag. If you don't, then the request is just going to kind of fall over when we post to the Supabase Edge function, because we don't have the function jot on the Truffle API side. So we're just going to go in and deploy that and allow people to post to the function without the function jot. That way Truffle can send webhooks to your function. And this is the same kind of workflow that Supabase suggests that you take for like Stripe webhooks or any other third-party webhooks. So we're going to go ahead and deploy the function. We need to be in the backend folder. So anytime you run a Supabase command, what are we? Module not found. We didn't go in. Okay. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and deploy. Oh, we haven't linked yet. So where were we? Okay. We have to actually scoot back a little bit. So we're going to go to Supabase link. Make sure that we have that ref. We do. We're good there. And then we can deploy the function. Okay, so we're good to go there. We've deployed our function. The next thing that we have to do is we actually have to set up our remote secrets after we've deployed the function. If you set up your secrets before, then the function deploy will, if it's the first time you're doing it, it's going to overwrite any secrets you've already set. So we're going to go and cd into the Supabase folder. And we're going to copy this example environment file into .env. Open that up, and so we have two variables that we need to set: the Truffle API key, which is just the package API key, go to truffle.secret, and we're going to copy this in. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the event topic slug. Grab that slug on the event topic. Go to that MD. Cool. And we're going to paste that in there. So now that we have our secret set, we move back up to the backend directory, and we are going to set our secrets. Cool. We're going to sync that with Supabase. So cool. Now that we've pushed our secrets up to the remote, we should be about good here. One quick thing, we can actually test that the function was deployed properly. So we're just going to copy the scroll command, and then we can run back over to the Supabase dashboard. On the left panel, you can access your functions. We're going to click on the function we just deployed, click on details, and then grab the endpoint URL. So we're going to go and replace that in the curl command. Grab the new line character. Cool. And we're going to send that, and we're going to get our Pong back with the data that we sent it, that name functions attribute. So our function is deployed properly. The next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to hold on to that endpoint URL, and we need to go and we are going to update our event subscription endpoint. So if we go back to Truffle config, go to this final step, the event subscription upsert, and we're going to update that endpoint to be our new Supabase Edge Function endpoint URL. So now we should be about good. There are a couple more steps to deploy and install the package. So if we go back to the README, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to run a Truffle CLI deploy. So this is going to go and sync our package with Truffle. So we're going to go and deploy it. Before we do, we're going to do one quick pass through to make sure the event topic is all good. Everything's looking good. Cool. Let's go and run the Truffle CLI deploy. Cool. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to install the package. And so what we can do, we can just run Truffle CLI install package name and just pass in that at latest tag. So we're going to go and grab our package name from that name field, paste it in, and we're going to specify that we want to install the latest package. Before we run this, a quick overview of package installs. The way that package installs work inside of Truffle is you can install packages to other packages. So like, for example, like each creator site is going to be a package. So you would be able to install the event package that you're creating here into a creator's site-wide package. And that would be how you would scope everything, all of the functionality of your package to a creator site. We're going to go and run this install. Fingers crossed it works. Cool, yay. So the package install, we get the screen output that the install was successful. So that means that everything was installed correctly. So we're going to do a quick Truffle CLI describe here to describe the package and just kind of get a bird's eye view of what has been set up so far. So Truffle CLI describe is basically a way to get any information associated with your package inside of the package namespace just from the CLI tool. So you'll be able to grab the package version, the IDs, package information, any event topics that are associated with your package, as well as any event subscriptions. Note that collectibles aren't going to show up here, so you're going to have to call the graphical query, query the org to view the collectible that you created. So we're going to do that next, now that our now that our package has been installed on the Dev Early Access org. So what we're going to do, we're just going to grab the collectible connection query to go and view all the collectibles on the org. I actually already have this set up in Postman. So we're going to go and we're going to pass in that query. And there it is, RM Golden Demo. So this is our collectible that we just created. So we're going to grab the ID here. And the next thing that we have to do is you have to grab an org user. So if you don't already have like a user ID, make sure that you go and you run this query so that you can essentially give a collectible to a specific user. I already have one set up, so I'm going to skip that step. We're going to go to the own collectible increment, and we're going to replace the collectible ID with our newly created collectible. So we're going to run that query. So we just gave 100 of those collectibles to this user. And then the final thing that we have to do, or actually not quite the final, but the next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to mock redeem this collectible for this user. So we have like our org API key, so we have permission to go and redeem collectibles for users. And we are going to go and send in a quick poll. So what time will stream end? Something, something. Okay, so we got our question, got a couple options, and we are going to go and fire this mutation. So we get a quick response from the API, basically indicating that it's successfully broadcasted this event. And so the next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to go back to Supabase and check the logs and see what happened inside of our function. So boom, we see we have this poll created log, which basically is the response of the Supabase function calling the poll upsert mutation. And just logging that out to standard out. So we have successfully created that poll as shown in the Supabase output. You can also go ahead and run this query, this poll connection, to verify that things are set up on the Truffle API side and that the poll is actually created. So there we go. You can see our question, what time will stream end, who it was created by, as well as any poll options. So that is basically the gist of how events work, how packages work. If you have any feedback or suggestions, let us know. We're going to be continuing to add examples on how to use events since they're a little more involved and pretty powerful. So we'll probably add some more examples for other services like Cloudflare Workers and maybe the NetFly Edge functions, and continue to build out a catalog of examples to continue to make this easier. If you have any feedback on I guess kind of what you've seen so far, or you need help getting set up, please reach out in the Discord, and we would be super stoked to hear from you guys. We're excited to hear and see how you guys use the Events API, and excited to see what you guys build.